a brief break from the rain.
Yeah, a bit of a break here. Mario, live in Studio City, just one of the areas in Southern California where hillsides are so saturated, and that is what the worry is. Good morning, Mario.
Good morning, Araxia, Tony, and the incoming rain will not help. Experts say these mud and debris flows can be triggered days, sometimes even weeks after significant rainfall like we saw in recent days. And we're along Fredonia Drive here in Studio City. Part of the road is still closed from a recent mudslide earlier this week. And you can see public works crews still have their heavy equipment on standby with the potential for another mudslide. Take a look at the video. Tuesdays forced a dozen residents in several homes to shelter in place until the road was cleared. In a recent burn area, a wildfire can make the soil repel water, creating a flood-like flow on the ground that picks up rocks and debris. But in an area that hasn't burned like this one, the soil becomes oversaturated, pressure builds up underground, and soil starts moving, picking up mud and debris as it flows downhill. I spoke to a geologist and USC professor who said the pattern of these latest storms poses an even bigger risk in these communities.
Not only have we had really big storms driven by these atmospheric rivers, so we've got a lot of rain falling, but we've had a lot of them coming sort of in sequence. If we get a series of storms and they're each spaced out and there's a chance for that water to infiltrate deeper into the ground or to evaporate, then the effect of the next storm, a month later, is not nearly as strong as the effect of a series of storms that happen one after the other, just a few days apart.
So it's those back-to-back storms that are not giving the hillsides enough time to absorb the water, and some of our mountain communities saw at least 8 inches of rain. Now, experts say residents near burn scars should be ready for debris flows for 2 to 5 years after a wildfire, and typically about a half an inch per hour is what it takes to trigger a debris flow. They also say don't rely on what you've seen in past debris flows because they can hit new areas or return. They might be smaller or larger next time. And back here in Studio City, you can see at least one of the homes that saw minor flooding with some of that debris making it into the garage. Fortunately, fire officials say there was no structural damage to the homes and no one was injured, but you can see residents here in this community still cleaning up as they're bracing for another round of winter weather. Reporting live in Studio City, back to you.
All right, Mario, thank you.
Southern California storm victims now have until May 15th to file federal, individual, and business tax returns and to make a tax payment. The IRS says that 1-month filing grace period is being offered to residents in areas designated by the Federal Emergency Management Agency due to the storms. That includes individuals and households that reside or have a business in LA, Orange, Riverside, and San Diego counties. A list of eligible locations is available on the disaster relief page. That's on IRS.gov.
Well, that's good news because people have enough to worry about with what's happening with the weather, some more than others, but still.
Yes, this definitely helps. And by the way, did you get much rain up in the desert?
Down in the
desert.
Or out in the desert.
Out in the desert.
No, just a few sprinkles. Smotanos.
Yeah. Let's ask her.
It's all about
I was
what
there,
Tony
but sometimes I'm there and not really there. You know what I mean? So,
that's right. The desert's on
You
the
were hibernating. You had no idea it was raining.
I'm glad Tony survived a couple of raindrops that made it into the desert. It's on the leeward side of these storm systems, so by the time it reaches our desert communities, it doesn't really produce a whole lot of rainfall. But this time around, maybe a little bit more. Check this out. We are warm today, warmer than normal, that is. We'll see sunshine, a few high to mid-level clouds. It'll kind of stream through the area. High pressure is currently our dominating feature, and it is continuing to deflect the storms and the rain towards our neighbors northward. We're going to be looking at temperatures, maybe even a range of 5 to 10 degrees warmer than normal. But downtown LA, 3 degrees normal, 70s on the way for this afternoon. Enjoy the break while we can, because another series of storms set to hit Southern California this weekend, unfortunately. It all begins as early as late Friday night, maybe a few showers, and the bulk of the first system arrives Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. So you want to make sure you have a backup plan if you have Saturday evening plans. How much rainfall? About 3/4 inch to 1.5 inches greater for our foothills and mountain communities. And a second storm system also tapping into the atmospheric river arrives Sunday and into Monday. And MLK Monday will be pretty wet if you have plans then as well. Winds are going to be quite strong, about 35 miles per hour, if not greater than that, across Southern California as those storms roll through. Here's a quick Futurecast breakdown as we animate this out. Like I mentioned, few sprinkles here and there. Most areas will be dry. Saturday afternoon, you'll see more pops of color, an indication of the heavier downpours, and it'll push in through Sunday, a little bit of a break, and then Sunday, again, afternoon into Monday, storm number 2 arrives. More rain in the forecast. You want to make sure you continue to prepare for that. Send back over to you.
All right, Samantha, thank you. 6:11. Next, a woman's horrifying story about her usual visit to a nail salon.
She says she went in